I remember thinking that my brother has an artificial hip. He can't carry me out. I can't walk out. I can't crawl out, and I'm stuck here.
Southern Utah. This iconic western landscape is the result of 25 million years of sandstone erosion, which have left deep canyons littered with boulders and pools of freezing water. It's harsh and uninhabited, which is exactly why it appeals to experienced canyoneers like Justin and Jeremy Harris.
Jeremy and I have shared a lot of experiences as we grew up as brothers.
Justin's always been an icon to me. He's always been someone that I looked up to.
Canyoneering is a passion that the brothers have shared since they were 7 years old.
We can share things that brothers don't very often get time to share.
Hey, little brother, wake up.
What time is it?
It's time to go.
It had been a while since we'd been out on a hike, and November was, you know, it was a little later than we wanted to go.
It's freezing. We both had done quite a bit of winter hiking, so it wasn't something that was foreign to us, but it's definitely something that's going to complicate matters.
You sure you're up for this today?
I thought about that question, and I think, yeah, maybe part of me as his older brother thought that I needed to make the final say.
Yeah, are you? Yeah, I'm up for it. You drove all this way, right?
I didn't get too concerned about the pace that we were making until we got to the rappel.
Is this it? That's it.
The drop is too steep just to scramble down. They'll need to use ropes.
It was a good drop.
It wasn't something that you would survive if you fell from.
See? There's nothing to worry about.
I'm not worried. A little terrified, maybe. Not worried.
You'll be fine.
Now the weather, which has been deteriorating all day, takes a dramatic turn for the worse.
You think this canyon has something against us, do you?
Yeah, I think it might just.
It was a very tricky down climb, even though it wasn't far. There were very few handholds and very few places to stand on the way down.
And footing was a little slippery because of the snow.
Justin!
I knew without a doubt I had just broken my leg, and all I could do was scream. It was the worst pain I'd ever felt in my life.
It's really bad, Justin.
Justin's shin bone is shattered in 6 places. Internal bleeding is already restricting blood flow to other parts of his body. They don't know it, but this injury could kill him.
Okay. What time is it?
I remember thinking that my brother has an artificial hip. He can't carry me out. I can't walk out. I can't crawl out, and I'm stuck here.
We're gonna get through this.
You think?
We're gonna make it.
If I was going to get out of there, it was going to be up to Jeremy.
That was really hard to be the one to take charge, because forever before, he was the person that I would look to when I didn't know what to do.
According to the trail notes, Jeremy should be out of the canyon in 4 hours. But so far, the route has proven more difficult and far slower than expected.
I think we were both pretty confident that I was going to be out soon and I could call someone and we'd get him out of that canyon.
Jeremy should have been out of the canyon by now, but in the dark and without trail notes, he has missed the side canyon exit. Now his every step takes him further away from civilization and any hope of rescue for his brother.
April 5th, 2000. Mackenzie Susan Harris. Mackenzie Susan Harris. May 1st, 1995. Skylar Christopher Harris. December 3rd. Trisha Harris.
I got stuck. And all of a sudden I realized that one of my worst fears is happening, that I might be starting to lose grip on the situation. And that really scared me. And so as painful as it was, I pretty much forced myself to stand up and endure some pain to try and get my system in check. Pain would just shot right up in through my nerves, right up into my knee. It was terrible, but it woke me up.
Jeremy has now been climbing through the canyon for over 24 hours. He's exhausted, but driven on by a single thought: to get back to his brother.
Climbing up and taking so much energy, getting part of the way or most of the way up. I had never felt so drained. It was extremely hard to climb. Some of the hardest things that I've ever had to climb up in my life.
Jeremy? Jeremy!
I'm thinking about my brother out there somewhere, and I'm picturing him frozen somewhere because it's too cold and he just can't make it. And I'm starting to lose hope. And I started to think that maybe he was dead.
But as Justin struggles with his fears, miles down the canyon, Jeremy is suddenly confronted by his terrible mistake. He stumbles across the side canyon exit. Disoriented by the darkness, he simply missed it the night before.
It was so obvious. I can't conceive how I would have missed it, other than just the state of mind that I was in. I definitely should have seen it.
Jeremy may be out of the main canyon, but he cannot find the trail back to his camp, and in just 2 hours the sun will set. At the bottom of the canyon, Justin's battle for survival has become one of sheer will and faith in his brother.
I knew he would do everything that he possibly could to get out of that canyon and to get help in for me. I knew he wouldn't give up, no matter what.
It's really hard to convey to someone how exhausted I was. I'd gone so far beyond what I had imagined my limits were. I wasn't sure whether I should believe that it was really there or not. And I approached it, and it really was. I hadn't really even thought about my own physical condition. I was a wreck, and kind of amazed at the fact that I was even alive.
As the sun rises after a second night exposed to sub-zero temperatures, And with no idea if his brother is alive or dead, Justin knows he cannot survive much longer.
Hello? Hello? Oh! Hey.
And then all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see a face pop around this boulder. And I think we were probably both pretty surprised to see each other.
Justin, we see you. He's right over there. Base, we found him.
And it was like, you know, they're here. They made it. They made it down. It was wonderful.
Jeremy and Justin are finally reunited in hospital in Salt Lake City.
And I remember thinking, he's just gonna go into surgery and they're gonna fix his leg. And he's gonna be just fine, and that's far from the truth.
Justin spent 90 days in the hospital and endured 13 operations. Despite all their efforts, the doctors were unable to save his leg.
It was too much to bear. I still felt so guilty.
Jeremy and I lived through something that we shouldn't have. And the experience of going through that with someone is powerful.
I think just being born of the same mother doesn't make you brothers, and the term brother is a very sacred term to me, and Justin's definitely my brother.
Suddenly, Blake comes face to face with a grizzly bear. A specially chartered plane has dropped Blake Stanfield and his father Neil in a remote Alaskan wilderness 60 miles from the nearest settlement.
How's the raft coming? We're almost there. Good. Get the coffee on.
Neil runs a building management firm, and Blake is a doctor. They'd taken leave to spend some time together.
My father and I started backpacking when I was a young boy. I always ended up loving that. He taught me to appreciate the outdoors.
Better get going, Dad. Just checking everything's shipshape. Where in the world did I put that lighter?
I got it.
Very repellent. Extra strength. Very repellent.
Almost anywhere in Alaska, you're going to run into many different types of wildlife, which includes bear, and of course, that's something that you always need to be prepared for.
The gates of the Arctic National Park is spectacular but dangerous. It's home to hundreds of black bears and grizzlies, not to mention roaming packs of wolves. It's 13,000 square miles of near untouched wilderness. For 6 months of the year, the rivers are choked with ice. During the summer, it all melts, but this early in the season, some patches have yet to thaw.
We're going too fast, Blake. It's going down, Dad.
It was sheer panic at the time, and it happened so quickly that there wasn't much time at all to think. The next thing I actually remember was being pulled right underneath the ice.
There was so little time to realize what had happened, except that it was a real problem. And the second ice shelf had no room to breathe.
I really thought I had taken my last breath. My father and I both ended up with a lot of abrasions to the top of our heads because we kept trying to come up to the air that we were hoping was there. thought of a worse way of dying than drowning, and was certainly thinking that that is how I was going to die. After being under that water for what seemed like an eternity, just remember popping out, taking in a nice big breath of air. At this time, I had no idea where my father was. He had been pushed up against something and trapped.
Oh my God, you're freezing. We gotta get you dry. It's okay, Dad. You're gonna be okay. All right?
Neil's wet clothes are making his temperature fall even faster.
It's okay.
Basically, while this fire got started, I hugged him and tried to give him some of the warmth that I had. Eventually got him to where he wasn't shaking anymore.
The freezing water has drained Neil's strength. He's 65 years old and still feeling the effects of an accident 12 months ago that left him with a broken ankle.
Blake! Can we just hold up here a minute? You're not even trying to find a place to stop.
Oh, sorry, Dad. I just got carried away.
There's no way we're just walking out of here. We're gonna have to find a good campsite and stay put. How agreed?
All right.
Their ordeal has left Neil and Blake battered and bruised. Now they have to contend with the cold.
We got enough wood?
Yeah, we got lots. You get closer to the fire. I'm warm enough. There.
My father and I took turns laying towards the front of the shelter where the fire was.
Try and get some sleep, okay? Yeah.
And then whoever was laying in back would bear hug the person in front.
Sleeping won't be easy. It's summer and the sun barely dips below the horizon. But during the few hours of darkness, the temperature can still get close to freezing. During the night, Blake has made a tough decision.
Well, I needed to get back to Bettles. I needed to go find help.
The #1 rule of survival is stick together. But Blake knows his dad isn't up to the hike.
Dad? You okay?
Yeah. Pretty sore, though. You slept?
Not so much, no.
You know, I've been thinking. We gotta get ourselves organized. We gotta build up a nice big pile of firewood. Maybe make some traps. We're gonna need some food.
I'm going for help, Dad.
Help? From where?
Blake had no doubt given it a lot of thought and decided that he could conquer this problem and hike back to Bettles.
We're on our own, Dad. No one's coming.
I'm telling you not to go.
Leaving him alone was a hard decision, but I think he knew I was stubborn because I inherited that from him.
You're really going, aren't you?
Yes, sir, I am. I'm really going. Because if I don't, we're gonna die here, Dad.
You're gonna need the knife. And the lighter. Now what about the bears? You saw all those tracks.
Well, you got the fire. That should keep them away.
I meant you, son. What about the bears?
I love you, Dad.
Yeah. Me too. Well, you know I do.
I'm gonna come back, Dad.
I hit myself.
See what?
Suddenly, Blake comes face to face with a grizzly bear.
A grizzly can tear your head off with one bite. But their claws can rip holes through you like nobody's business, so you don't want to mess with them. I certainly sent the adrenaline through my body when I saw him.
Blake daren't make a sound. The bear's too close.
It was scary seeing him out there. He wasn't far enough away for my liking.
The bear hasn't spotted him, but grizzlies have a sense of smell 100 times more powerful than a human and can pick up the scent of prey from more than 2 miles away. But Blake's in luck. He's downwind of the bear, and his scent is carried in the opposite direction. But the wind could change. He risks making a run for it. Now Neil faces his first night alone in a wilderness bristling with predators.
As everyone knows, you try to make noise in the wild with where bears are present. I said a lot of stupid things in order to make noise, and one of them was, "I'm the king of this valley. Everyone who lives here at my pleasure."
You want to see me, you have to go through my nights. Blake, where are you?
Around 6 or 7 in the evening on Tuesday, I was laying over by my fire when I heard the sound of an airplane. And my God, he was coming up on me quick, I could tell. I ran as fast as I could.
Hey! 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 Hey!
I realized that he spotted me. He'd spotted me. That was the same plane, and as they flew over me, they dropped a bag of stuff.
The bag contains supplies and a walkie-talkie.
I turned that radio on. I kind of told him what had happened.
There's only one thought on Blake's mind.
Please hurry! You gotta go find my dad! He's 15 miles upstream. There'll be a fire going. You see a fire.
The pilot launches an aerial search for Neil. Three hours later, a rescue helicopter picks up Blake and rushes to the scene.
Neil! Neil! You okay?
How did you know I was here?
I asked your son.
Blake?
He climbed in that helicopter.
Dad! I'm so sorry, Dad. So sorry.
Hell, all I could say was, man, you look like hell.
Well, you don't look that cute yourself.
I think that calls for a spot of celebratory lunch. But over there, a nice bit of shade by those trees.
Sounds good to me.
What's the time?
There was no warning.
Zambia, one of the wildest countries in Africa, home to the spectacular Victoria Falls. They are fed by the mighty Zambezi River, which divides Zambia from Zimbabwe. It's here on one of the river's most isolated stretches that two friends have planned a weekend fishing trip. Arthur Taylor and Alistair Gallatley have known each other for over 25 years.
Our kids have grown up together with Alistair. Basically, Alistair's part of the family. He's a very good guy in a crisis and a very good friend.
We've known each other a while. We've spent a lot of time together.
Joining them are Arthur's English wife, Faye, and her parents, Clive and Brenda. They're retired teachers visiting from England.
Change your mind yet?
No, I think I'll just stay here and relax and read my book. Go on.
Okay, all aboard.
This is one of the river's most remote stretches.
The Zambezi is just a fantastic river. It's amazing, and it is so diverse.
Most of them are in herds or groups, and then you get the few odd single males. As long as you give them a wide berth, the chances are you're not going to have any problem.
Oh, I think I've got something here. Pretty heavy. Oh.
Fishing had been pretty poor that morning, and when Mum caught a fish, it was like, yay, you know. I mean, she's really chuffed.
Well done, Mum.
I think that calls for a spot of celebratory lunch. But over there, a nice bit of shade by those trees.
Sounds good to me.
What's the time?
There was no warning.
Grab my hand. He's coming. Let me go.
The Zambezi is famous for its unpredictable and deceptively strong currents. Many people drown in its eddies and whirlpools every year.
The one thing that I thought of was the fact that my children could have been with me and that I would have lost them because they would have been just thrown out of the boat.
The boat has become snagged in the middle of the river. Clive and Alistair are able to cling onto it while the current drags the others downstream.
Clive and I, we couldn't do much. We sat on the front of the boat and we watched them.
I had no idea where we were going. All I knew was that we were being swept away.
The current was really, really strong and was just sweeping us down. We were trying to make our way to shallow waters. We knew it was our only hope of survival.
Luckily, the current actually took us towards the middle of the river, which was slightly shallower.
It's a sandbag.
From his position on the boat, Alistair assesses the situation. the group's chances of being rescued on this remote stretch of the river are slim. He knows that every year hundreds of people die of crocodile attacks on the Zambezi. As the only single man in the group,
Arthur!
he takes a calculated risk.
I'm going to swim to that bank and get help!
Don't risk it up!
I went under the water just to try to see where the croc was. As I started to go towards the croc, it came for me.
The savage attack has broken Alistair's arm in 3 places. His shoulder joint has been ripped from its socket.
I was pretty scared I was going into shock. I was very weak. I lost a lot of blood.
All he can do to stem the blood loss is to make a tourniquet. Clive is still stranded in the middle of the river. And now the boat is beginning to sink.
Can't stay there. He left us all to us.
Dad! You're gonna have to come over to us!
I know.
My dad had no choice but to swim, because if the boat went down in the night, then he would just disappear. He wouldn't have stood a chance.
Brenda!
It was just such an awful experience to watch, and terrifying, not knowing at any moment.
Right! Keep at it!
I can't tell you what a relief that was.
On shore, only a few hundred yards away, Alistair's agony is intensifying. His wound is becoming a poisonous time bomb.
I had nothing to wash it out with properly. The arm was full of rubbish.
Alistair knows that bacteria from the crocodile's bite will have entered his bloodstream. Untreated, he could easily lose his arm to gangrene.
Gangrene is pretty serious. A friend of mine, he got chewed by a lion. You know, he got to hospital within 8 hours, but he still lost his leg.
Too weak to move. If the gangrene doesn't get Alistair, the predators might.
We shouted across at him until the sun started going down. And then the hyenas started calling.
When the sun went down, we all decided not to call to Alistair. If he had called back to us, it would have just alerted any predator within range that Alistair was there.
Night is the most dangerous time in the African bush. Leopards, lions, and hyenas can detect the scent of blood from several miles away.
I could hear the lions calling and the hyenas, but when they stop, you don't know where they are, because you don't know if they come in your direction or going away. I thought I could be in for a tough night. I just got these stones together so that if something did come up that night, I could at least throw a rock at it.
When the daylight finally came, it was just such a sense of relief because we had made it through the night. But we had worried that Alistair had bled to death. I mean, we had no idea what had happened to him and how badly injured he was. That was such a terrible feeling because you always think of the worst. And physically and mentally, we were just exhausted.
After almost 20 hours stranded in the water, the group are desperate.
We were thinking, well, you know, it's another day and somebody has got to come.
On the river, his friends can do nothing but await their fate.
Canoes.
Amanda, just dance.
I can see them there. There.
Incredibly, some canoeists have ventured this far down the river.
They'd seen us and they thought, well, what strange people fishing in the middle of the river. I can't tell you how that felt, really. I mean, it was just a sense of relief. We were going to be all right. It was also still worry for Alistair. We hadn't heard from Alistair for several hours.
Eventually, the couple across the river spotted Alistair. They took him to safety, where he was reunited with the others. Despite his terrible injuries, surgeons were able to save Alistair's arm.
That's a big shark.
I figured if it's going to happen, I want it to happen fast. I hope it doesn't bite my leg. I hope it just sinks its teeth right into my heart. And bang, it's over with. I didn't know what to expect going to the Solomon Islands for the first time. I remember getting off the plane and thinking how awfully hot it was.
35-year-old Melissa Armstrong was a hotel manager in Toronto. But fed up with metropolitan life, she quit her job and traveled here in search of adventure.
I wasn't feeling fulfilled.
She's found a job working with marine researcher David Tomlinson, who spent almost 30 years studying the oceans.
I began diving in 1963 in the Bahamas. I'm very lucky to be able to study much of our oceans and see things that not a lot of people get a chance to see.
The dive site is 20 miles offshore. Melissa has never been diving so far from land.
I was excited. I felt good about the dive. It wasn't until I went out there that I thought, oh, wow, I'm really out in the middle of nowhere.
What's up?
Nothing. Well, I guess maybe I'm just a little nervous.
What about?
I was a little embarrassed because I wanted to be like the guys, one of the guys. And I said, I'm afraid of sharks.
No, you don't have to worry about sharks. They're much more afraid of us than we are of them.
I doubt it.
I'm serious. They hardly ever bother divers. Now, if you were up on the surface like a surfer, flapping around, then you look like shark bait. But when you're down below, there's nothing to worry about. Can you zip me up?
The dive was completely different than anything I'd ever experienced. It was amazing. We started going through this white haze. It was quite dreamlike, and there were bubbles funneling up around us coming from the vents of Kavachi.
The volcano is out of sight beneath the divers, far deeper than they can safely descend. All they can see are clouds of sulfur dioxide rising towards them from below.
It was such an amazing celestial scene. It was just breathtaking.
After 30 minutes, the divers surface.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
It was awesome.
The weather has changed dramatically. The dark cloud David spotted earlier is now above them.
God, it's really choppy now.
Yeah.
There's the boat, it's miles away.
Hey!
I said, David, why aren't they turning around? And he couldn't answer that question.
You're yelling, you're screaming at the top of your voice. Why isn't he looking? We're here. Can't you see us?
One of them makes a desperate attempt to locate the missing divers, but he has no idea just how far away they are now. With the fuel tank almost empty, the boatmen have no other choice but to return to the island to get help.
Guys! Go!
It happened quite quickly. We watched them disappear, as if the sea swallowed them up. I said, David, this is bad. This is really, really, really bad.
Hey! Hey!
20 miles away, the boatmen get back to the island and raise the alarm.
Lost 2 divers out there.
The locals know the seas around here well. They've all heard the stories of giant hammerhead sharks preying on fishermen. They know they may not have long, and search parties race out on the hunt for the missing divers. David and Melissa can only hope that help is on its way. But with each passing hour, they're getting more nervous.
In the Solomons, there's a phenomenal amount of sea life there. Our biggest fear at that stage, I believe, was sharks.
I'd imagine them circling below us. This big mouth coming up and tearing into one of us. I felt David, he pulled me to the right, abruptly.
David! David, what are you doing?
And I pulled back, and he pulled me, and I'm like, what?
It was coming straight at me from the depths, literally, from what I could see, straight at my face.
Run up!
It was this huge, ugly barracuda, probably 5.5 feet. They can be very aggressive, and they have been known to attack people before.
David knows the great barracuda has a ferocious bite.
All he has to do is hit me in my hand, my arm, my leg. If I start bleeding, I've got another major problem. I've got a problem with sharks.
Against 2 sets of razor-sharp teeth, David's only defense is his camera.
I needed something to ram and protect us. That was the first thing to use.
It circled around us, and then it went off. He couldn't believe it didn't do anything else.
It's gone.
But I kept looking for it because I just didn't want to be caught by surprise by one of those.
As night started wrapping itself around us, it was completely terrifying. Thinking, oh my, we're gonna be here at night. We're gonna have to deal with what we just dealt with, only in blackness.
What?
Stop.
What
Stop
is it?
swimming. Look, in the water.
All of a sudden, I find that every time we move our arm or our leg, the water's glowing.
Wow!
The mysterious light is caused by microscopic plankton in the water. Any sudden movement makes them glow.
Stop. Stop.
But it's beautiful.
Yeah. We move, we get seen, huh?
That really stopped us from swimming because I said, Melissa, we can't keep swimming now because we're gonna, it's lighting up around us. Something's gonna see us.
But when the divers stop swimming, their body temperature plummets.
I was just shaking so hard. I was so cold. You've got nothing to stand on. There's nothing to sit down on. I just wanted to be out of the water. I wanted something to float by so I could climb on top of it so that I wouldn't have this pressure on my body because it was so consuming and uncomfortable.
David and Melissa have been adrift in the South Pacific for over 12 hours. Trails of luminous plankton have made them stop swimming. Whatever's causing the flashes now, it's not them.
Oh my God! What was that?
We were seeing little explosions of light within, 5-10 meters of us.
Ah! God! Did you see that?
There'd be a flicker of light, and then another one, and then another one.
What sort of fish they were, I don't know. Any minute, you expect something's gonna hit you.
Oh my God! Ah!
Your fear is unbelievable. The night was the most stressful time I've ever had in my life. It's as far as your emotional lows are concerned, that'd have to rank up there with them because I've never been so hopeless.
The exhausted divers are only 4 miles from land. But for David, this is the most terrifying part of the entire journey.
I didn't totally mention to Melissa at that stage that I believe the greatest fear we're gonna have is that last bit, right in close to the shore, because it's an area I wanted to fish, because there's so much sea life there, including your upper major predators.
I remember thinking, what's that piece of plastic sticking out of the water? It looks like a sailboat's on its end, or almost like a kayak sticking straight up out of the water. Well, what's that plastic?
Oh, David! David! I saw a shark.
What?
I saw a fin. Oh my God!
That woke me up.
What it look?
I said, did it sort of look like this? And she says, yeah. And what I sketched with my finger was a dorsal fin of a hammerhead shark.
Oh, God.
That's a big shark.
I figured if it's gonna happen, I want it to happen fast. I hope it doesn't bite my leg. I hope it just sinks its teeth right into my heart. And bang, it's over with.
This was my greatest fear. You're just hoping that that shark isn't hungry. With all the bad things that have happened, a little bit of good luck would be nice right now. The hardest problem is that you know it's still nearby. You're still waiting in the back of your mind, it's going to sneak up on you.
The divers make a last desperate attempt to reach land. After 26 hours in the ocean and an agonizing 20-mile swim, they're finally just a few hundred yards from their goal.
We're 100 meters from the shoreline, but the odds were that we weren't going to survive.
Ready?
And I just happened to turn left, and I don't know why I turned left and looked.
And then I heard him say, "I'll be damned. There's a boat." It was unbelievable. It couldn't have been at a more beautiful time.
It was an unbelievable feeling. Absolutely unbelievable feeling. Because then it was just like one of the heaviest weights you'd ever have in your life lifted off your shoulder.
Next thing I know, the boat's next to us, and they're pulling me out of the water. And I'm like, I was this crazy mad woman. I was crying and laughing. I kept thinking, I was just lost at sea. I was just lost at sea for 26 hours. The sharks didn't eat us. We didn't die. I'm alive.
God, you okay?
I hit a log straight on, and it just, I managed to catch it with the part of the body you should never hit a log with, and literally knocked the wind out of me considerably.
You okay to stand? Oh, let me take this pack. On through. 1, 2, 3. Oh. Careful.
It's a lucky escape. It could have been much worse. 2 hours after starting down the chute, the exhausted group reaches the bottom. They've descended over 1,000 feet. Now, there's no going back. The temperature has been climbing all day. It's touching 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
How comes it's so hot? It's gotta be a freak thing. It'll be cooler tomorrow.
In fact, a freak heat wave has hit the canyon. The temperature's heading for 108 degrees, much hotter than anyone expected.
Lauren had been the year before, and it was hot, but not 110 degrees hot, you know, not cook you alive hot.
We had anticipated that the temperature would be in the 90s. 90-degree weather would have been bad enough.
And the route down offers no protection from the ferocious sun.
This is when we realized that we don't have any shade. We're not going to have any shade from now on.
There's nowhere to hide. It's constantly beating down on you.
That's just draining us and dehydrating us.
Just a day into the hike, things are beginning to go badly wrong.
We were alarmed that we were going through the water as fast as we were.
In the searing heat, they've already gone through 3/4 of their water. The only place they're going to get more is the Colorado River. But it's over 2,000 feet down, and they're still a day and a half's hard hiking away. In this heat, they'll run out long before they get there.
As we were hiking, that's all we could think about was the river, of getting to the river.
But the boys are about to find out that blistering heat isn't the only hazard they face.
Dave, don't move. You got a scorpion on your back.
One sting could immobilize David.
Hold still.
Careful.
You think it could kill you? I don't know. I don't really want to find out.
It's a reminder of just how hostile the canyon is. As well as scorpions, there are thousands of rattlesnakes. Stepping on one would be all too easy. And getting bitten out here, miles from medical help, could be fatal.
Come on, let's go.
That afternoon, the temperature tops 108 degrees. By 7 that evening, they've had enough.
Okay, guys, this is it for the night.
We were really exhausted. We were just grateful to be off of our feet. We were grateful to have the sun down off of us.
David does his best to keep his friends' morale up.
Hey, guys! Guys, come here. You can see the river. It's miles away, Dave.
When I first saw the river, all I could think was, that is still very, very far away. So it was really worrisome to me that it was so hot and that I was running low on water.
Just think about running in that river and drinking pints of icy water. A couple of hours in the morning and we'll be there.
In fact, they're still a tough day's hike from the river, and their water is almost gone.
We begin to say, gee whiz, am I going to be able to make it down to the river tomorrow? Have I got enough water?
Their obsession with every drop of water is becoming overwhelming.
Hey, Jordan, don't let it boil. It's a waste.
Just gonna heat it a little.
Hey, George, they're much better dry. They're nutritious and delicious. It's like having loads of little worms in your mouth, just wriggling about. I'm not hungry.
Come on, Mark. You gotta eat something.
I thought it was odd that I wasn't hungry after all that work all day. I don't know if that's some kind of side effect of dehydration or not. Definitely that night I was starting to feel a little shocked and surprised that something I thought would be so fun was starting to turn into something that was so scary and so worrisome to me. And I felt like I had started to lose control of the situation that I was in.
Dave?
Yeah?
Are we gonna get through this?
Come on. We'll get up early before the sun gets down on us. By the afternoon, we'll be at the river.
I'm gonna stay there all afternoon.
Before sunup. That's when we need to get going.
Like David, Jordan is convinced there's only one way to avoid being cooked by the sun again.
We knew that we had to get up early. We knew that we had to beat the sun, that if we didn't, we knew that we would be in trouble.
What's the time?
Our kids have grown up together with Alistair. Basically, Alistair's part of the family. He's a very good guy in a crisis and a very good friend.
We've known each other a while, eh? We've spent a lot of time together. We go fishing a lot.
Where do you want the fish, mate? Usual place.
As experienced safari guides, they've lived and worked alongside the Zambezi for most of their lives.
Most important. Got enough? Think so? I can't wait to get on the water.
Joining them are Arthur's English wife, Faye, and her parents, Clive and Brenda. They're retired teachers visiting from England.
Change your mind yet?
No, I think I'll just stay here and relax and read my book. Go on.
They've both lived in Africa on and off over the years. This is one of the river's most remote stretches.
The Zambezi is just a fantastic river. It's amazing, and it is so diverse.
Oh, I think I've got something here. Pretty heavy. Whoa.
Fishing had been pretty poor that morning, and when Mum caught a fish, it was like, yay, you know. I mean, she's really chuffed.
Well done, Mum.
I think that calls for a spot of celebratory lunch. Right over there, a nice bit of shade by those trees.
Sounds good to me.
What's the time?
There was no warning.
Come on. He's coming. Let me go.
It was only when I actually was pulled back to the surface and gasping for air that suddenly then the reality of what had actually happened hit me.
They've survived the hippo attack, but now they're in even greater peril. They've capsized in one of the most crocodile-infested rivers in the world.
To think about, you know, my bare, dangly legs, it sent a chill through me, thinking that any moment now, one of us would be taken by a crocodile.
Clive Kelly has watched his wife Brenda sucked under the crocodile-infested river. He has no idea if she is alive or dead.
Brenda! Brenda! Where are you?
Although Clive can't hear them, his wife, along with his daughter Faye, her husband Arthur and their best friend Alistair, have all surfaced underneath the boat.
Brenda!
But the group's immediate danger is not crocodiles.
The current was actually so strong in that part of the river that it actually swept us out from underneath the boat.
The Zambezi is famous for its unpredictable and deceptively strong currents. Many people drown in its eddies and whirlpools every year.
The one thing that I thought of was the fact that my children could have been with me and that I would have lost them because they would have been just thrown out of the boat. You know, they would have just been gone.
Brenda had gone swim very well. She was screaming and struggling.
She obviously needed something to hold on to, and she had swallowed a lot of water and was gasping for air and kind of pushed onto me so that she could get her breath back. And I'm like, you know, Mum, you know, you're pushing me down.
Oh, Brenda, I got you. I got you.
It's just so strong, and we were being swept away. It was just incredible that Arthur was there when we needed him. Somehow, he managed to keep hold of the two of us.
We were all getting washed down together. We basically hung on to each other. It was very hard to swim against a strong current.
The boat has become snagged in the middle of the river.
Just relax, Brenda, relax.
Clive and Alistair are able to cling onto it while the current drags the others downstream.
Clive and I, we couldn't do much. We sat on the front of the boat and we watched them.
I had no idea where we were going. All I knew was that we were being swept away.
The current was really, really strong and was just sweeping us down. We were trying to make our way to shallow waters. We knew it was our only hope of survival.
Luckily, the current actually took us towards the middle of the river, which was slightly shallower.
It's a sandbank.
There was a submerged island.
The first thing I did is start vomiting because I swallowed half a Zambezi.
Alistair has seen his friends struggle against the current. He knows Clive would find it virtually impossible to make it to the sandbank.